EP1.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for coming to watch the very first episode of Talking Moodle. I'm Danny and this is my colleague Prathiba. We're from the customer engagement and education team here at eCreators, and we also have Fuad and Ray in the background looking after the cameras and comments, so please leave any comments that you have in the chat and we'll be happy to answer them at the end of the show. On today's show, we're talking about the top 10 plugins that we think you should have in your Moodle platform. We've got some really, really good ones for you, and we're also going to give them a rating. They're in no particular order. They're just ones that we really like using and we have experience using, so we thought we'd share them with you all. I'll let Prathiba talk about our rating system and then we'll get started.
Yes, as Danny told, we are just going to rate all these plugins out of 5 in no particular order at all, and all these ratings are just based on the ease of setup, integration, the documentation and support provided by the plugin developers, and the overall benefits for the users. Cool. Shall we start with the plugins?
Yep. So the very first one that we're going to talk about is the Grade Me plugin. There are lots of organisations that we work with who want to make it really easy for their teachers and trainers to be able to see who has submitted assignments or quizzes, and they want to make sure that they know that there's something ready to be graded. So with Just Moodle, the only thing that you're relying on is getting a notification email if you have that set up, but the Grade Me plugin is a block which you can put on either the site administrator dashboard or onto the course page, which will allow a teacher to be able to see what activities need to be submitted and who's submitted, so it's easy to just go into the course page or go onto the dashboard. And Fuad's just put up an image that you should all be able to see that shows you what the Grade Me block looks like. You'll see that it's got the activities there, it's got who's submitted and whether or not it has been submitted by an administrator, so it makes it really, really easy for someone to be able to see what submissions are ready to be graded. So what are your thoughts, Prathiba, on the grade?
It's also easy for the teachers to navigate straight away to the activity instead of going into the course page and searching for the activity. They can just straight away navigate into the activity and check what's being submitted. But the only drawback that I find about the Grade Me plugin would be the documentation provided by the developers. There's not much of documentation that we can find it over the internet. We just have to use the plugin, experiment, and see how it's being used and everything.
I think one of the things when I first started using the Grade Me plugin was the fact that you needed to know that groups had to be set up within your courses, and that a trainer or a teacher had to be allocated to that group so they would be able to see the submissions that have been made. But once you do get over the hurdles of setting it up and you know exactly how to set it up, it's actually a very, very good block to have within your Moodle platform.
Yep.
Cool. So how many eddies are we going to rate it?
4 eddies.
4 eddies? Yep. And I would say that we gave it 4 eddies mainly because of the lack of documentation that's around in setting up. Otherwise, it's a very good one to use.
The next plugin that we will be talking about is the H5P plugin. It's called the H5P plugin. It's basically to provide all types of interactive content. It allows you to add rich contents inside your LMS for the course. It just absolutely makes your course looks very rich, attractive, and very impressive. And they have excellent range of content types and very good support provided as well.
Yep. And
when the users, like I'm going to be a new user when I download a new plugin, the H5P plugin, and they have like an awesome range of examples and templates where we can just download, put it onto our website and see how it's being used.
Yeah, I think they've done an outstanding job with their website and the support documentation that they provide for their users.
And you need not be like professionally trained instructional designer or something to make your course look very impressive. So if you look into the screen now, you can see the number of content types that's actually available with the H5P. So you can see you can put in an accordion and collage columns, dialogue cards, or anything like that. The only drawback that I find is that it's very good for training purposes, but I'm not sure how good it would be for examinations, because sometimes I find there are problems when it sends the grades back to Moodle.
Yeah, there have been some reports of
Yep.
grades being sent back to the gradebook that don't quite work the way that it should. The other drawback that with H5P is that not all of their content types are accessible. So if you have accessibility requirements that you need to fulfill, you won't be able to use some of them because they're not accessible.
So how many IDs do you think that H5P can get?
I'm going to say 4 eddies.
Yep.
Yep. The other great thing about it is that it's free, so
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
cool. The next one we're going to talk about is the e-commerce. So LearnBook has an integrated e-commerce plugin that allows you to monetize your courses right within your Moodle platform. You're not relying on having to use a third-party platform to sell your courses. It's all within the one platform.
Yeah, and it just like gives instant access to the courses as well. So when I'm going to purchase a course, I can instantly get access to the course.
Yep.
It's not like I need not rely upon someone giving me access or waiting for something. I just buy a course and I instantly access the course. That I find as like a very big benefit. I'm
Yep.
not waiting for some sort of confirmation or anything like that.
Yeah, and I think you've got less breakpoints where you're not worrying about two programs having to sync together. It's all contained within your Moodle platform, and you're able to sell courses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as an administrator, I would also like to receive all kinds of reports on who has purchased, what are being waitlisted, and what are the products that are being most accessed. And with e-commerce, I find that all these reports are like very easy to extract from.
Yep. I also like the fact that you can share products or have buyers share products to different social media platforms,
Yep.
and that's really good for marketing and promotion.
Yep,
Yep.
exactly. The only con that I find about e-commerce is that it's available only with LearnBook. You
Yep.
have to be a LearnBook client to have access to e-commerce.
Yep. Cool. So how many eddies would you rate it?
I would definitely say 5
5?
because
Yep.
I did not find any issues at all.
Yep. Yeah, it is a very good plugin.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the next interesting plugin that we are going to see is a tiles format. It's actually a course format plugin. So with the default courses, it's usually the topics format or the grid format, and it's sometimes it can get a bit too boring. So the recent format is a tiles format, which provides slight animation. So all the course topics are rendered as small tiles,
Yep.
and when the user clicks on the tile, it's with small animations, all the contents are displayed,
Yep.
which I find is very interesting. And as you see on the screen, it's completely customizable. You can track the activity progress, you can track the course progress, you can add images to the tiles. It's like more interesting and more attractive.
Yeah. I like the fact that you not only can track overall progress, but you can track topic progress as well, which is something that I don't think any of the other
Yep.
course formats give you access to. So that's a really, really nice feature.
And the developers have excellent support system. They have like a unique website for complete documentation and with examples and everything. I think that they provide excellent support for this.
Yeah, that website is really, really good, and it's really easy to set up. And you've also got contact. If you go into the Moodle plugins directory at moodle.org/plugins, you'll find that this plugin also allows you to contact the developer if you need to. So that's a nice feature as well.
Yeah, and they're pretty spontaneous with their responses as well.
Yep.
When you ask a question. But I'm not sure if you will be able to add images to 3.7 and lesser Moodle versions.
Yeah, that's from what I've had a look at, you can only add images to 3.7, but it might be something that they're looking at to make it retrospective, so you can
Yeah.
do it on all the other versions as well.
Obviously,
Which
3.7 is a very recent version. I'm not
Yep.
sure like how many clients are going to be there on it. So that's like kind of the only drawback that I see. But otherwise,
Yep.
it's an excellent plugin. Yep.
it's a really good one. So I think we'd be giving that one 5 eddies as well.
Yep.
So moving on to our next plugin, we're talking about a web conferencing plugin known as BigBlueButton. So BigBlueButton is an activity type that you can put into your Moodle platform, and you can add it to your course pages, which allows you to create webinars from right within your Moodle courses. BigBlueButton is great because it gives you the ability to share a slide deck. You've got a whiteboard so that you can annotate while you're speaking. It allows you to have breakout rooms so that if you want people to work in smaller groups, you can set up breakout rooms, and you can do it all within your Moodle platform. You don't have to go out to a third-party platform for your webinar.
Yeah, and I like the fact that they have the poll option. It allows the teachers to interact with the students to see what they are interested on and everything. I really like that thing about BigBlueButton.
Yeah, one of the drawbacks that I see with BigBlueButton is that even though the plugin is free to download and install into your Moodle platform,
you need a subscription.
You need a subscription. Yeah,
and I also think we can also record and have the sessions and can be distributed easily as well. That's another big advantage of the BigBlueButton. So except for the subscription part, everything is actually very good about the BigBlueButton. The quality and the quality of the video, especially. I would definitely give it 4 ADs.
Yep.
So the next plugin that we are going to talk about is a completion progress. So it's kind of a time management tool for the students. So every time a student goes into a course, they may not be sure on what activity they need to do and what activity is incomplete. So the completion progress just gives you an overall information on the progress on each activity. It's kind of a status bar, and when the student hovers upon it, it will let them know on what activities are incomplete and everything.
Yep.
And it's also like when they can also straight away navigate to the activity from the completion progress bar itself.
Yeah, that's right. I like that it gives you the different color states based on whether you've completed or something's pending, or you haven't done something. So it's a really nice visual cue for your learners to be able to know what they've done and what's still in progress.
Yep. The only drawback that I find is that it cannot be color-coded at the course level. So once it is color-coded for the site, that's going to be the same colors throughout all the courses. You can't just vary the template based on the course colors and everything. Yep.
Cool.
And the other drawback is, I would say that it's not going to give you the date when the activity was marked as completed. It's just going to say completed or not completed. That's all. No date or anything like that. Yeah,
cool.
Yep. So how many stars do you think that completion progress can get?
I would say it's quite a useful block to put into your courses. So I would say at least 4 ADs.
4 ADs. And I've also read on certain reviews and forums that sometimes when you add a new activity after configuring the progress plugin, it might not pick up the new activity. So
4
based
ADs.
on that, I would say 4 ADs.
Cool. Right, did you want to talk about the Masonry plugin because it's one of your favorites?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite plugins because we recently discovered, because I was just bored of all the available course formats. The Masonry plugin format, what it does is that it displays all the activities like a Masonry brick wall. So each topic is going to be like a brick in a wall, and each brick, I would say, can be completely customized. It can be like color. You can choose your own colors and everything. And it's all dynamically placed, so you need not be worrying about where it should be placed and everything. It's kind of a very fluent page design.
It kind of picks its own configuration.
Position, and it's completely mobile responsive as well. Like even in a small phone or a big screen or anything, it's like very cool. The only disadvantage I would say is that you need to have like a very good color sense to pick up the perfect colors.
Yeah, I think if you because it allows you to pick the color for each of the different topics and bricks. If your color palette isn't pre-selected and you kind of pick a very random color palette, it might look very messy. But if you happen to pick a really cohesive color palette, it looks quite nice on the course page.
Yeah, it would be actually a very good course format for kids, especially when it's like very colorful and where they can pick it up and everything. Yep.
Cool. How many eddies?
4 ADs, I would say, because the only thing is that sometimes dynamically having the bricks placed is an advantage and a disadvantage as well. So for that, 4 ADs.
Cool. I'm going to talk about the Pixabay. This is one of my favorite plugins to put inside your Moodle platform because it gives you access to Pixabay inside all of your file pickers. So that's free stock images that you want to put inside your courses or on your course tiles. And the great thing about having the ability to choose from the Pixabay stock image library is that you're not having to go out into one of the stock image libraries, look for images, download them, save them, and then put them in the Moodle. And if it doesn't happen to work, you have to do that process over and over again. With Pixabay installed as one of your repositories inside Moodle, it means that you can just look for, choose, and then reselect really, really easily. The only drawback that I find is that you have to have a subscription with Pixabay. Now, it is free. The only thing that you need to do is create an account with Pixabay and go and find the API key that you need to configure inside your Moodle platform. But once you've done that, it's really easy to find really high quality images inside Moodle to use for your courses.
Yeah, I don't even think that's going to be like a very big disadvantage or something like that. I would definitely give it 5 eddies based on all the images and everything.
Yeah, I would too. It's one of my favorite Moodle features.
I know, So the next plugin that we're going to talk about is a group self-selection. So most of the time when we are going to enroll more number of users into a course, we would like to put them into groups, and the teachers or the administrators will have to go and sort them and put it into like separate groups. So the group self-selection, what it allows is the learners, the students themselves can choose on which group they can be in. So especially if we are going to group the users based on their interest, their personal interest or something, we can just put in like pre-made groups saying that if you're interested on this, choose this interest, and that's going to be a group, and the users can just go inside that group. I find this plugin like very beneficial and excellent.
I've actually used this one before to restrict access to different topics within a course based on someone's interest. So if I want them to be able to pick only a certain number of topics to complete, I use the group self-selection. So I'm not then having to manually put them into groups based on their interest. They can choose that all for themselves, and then I can restrict what they have access to based on the groups that they're in.
Yeah, and it's like fully compatible with the basic Moodle groups, and anything that you do with the Moodle groups, you can just perform with these
self-selection.
Well. Frankly speaking, I do not find any disadvantages with this plugin at all.
Yeah, I actually really like this plugin. So I think that one's got 5.
Yep. Definitely. So, the last plugin
is the GoOne plugin. So this is a very, very new plugin. At the moment, it's only available to eCreators clients, but it's a really good plugin because you have access to the entire GoOne course catalog from right inside your Moodle platform. So if you're not wanting to spend time or money creating courses, you can select from a range of off-the-shelf pre-made courses from the GoOne content browser.
Yeah, what is the point in like spending time and resource in recreating the same course again and again? And especially when GoOne has like the constantly expanding library, they're going to keep adding courses. All you have to do is just like put it as a regular activity and just link it to the course, and the students will be able to access the same course again. And
there are hundreds of thousands of courses that you can pick from. So and across a number of different providers. So you can really find a course that works for you and your target audience.
And another big advantage is, like, especially if you're eCreators client, you get access to 10 free courses instantly. All good. So how many eddies for the GoOne plugin?
I would say 5 for that one.
Yeah, especially for the way it's like saving your time and resources. It definitely deserves it. Yeah.
If you are an eCreators client already, and you haven't taken advantage of the 10 free courses that we provide with GoOne, please contact us and we'll be able to help you out with setting those up inside your Moodle platform. So I think we've gone through all of the 10 courses. 10 plugins. So we'd like to open up for questions. If anyone has any questions, please put them into the chat box, and Ray will be able to pick those up, and we're happy to answer any questions that you have.
Yep, we've got one coming through. Are there any free plugins on Plagiarism Checker?
So the plugins with the plagiarism checkers are free that you can download, but you need to take a subscription out with either. I think there's the two that I know of are Turnitin and Urkund. So I believe the plugins for those are free, but you have to take out a subscription. I don't think there are any that you can download from the Moodle plugin directory or from any provider that allows you to have access to a plagiarism checker for free without having to take out a subscription of any kind.
Yeah, another recent plagiarism plugin was a UniCheck plugin.
Yep.
Like I find a number of clients using this, but again, as you
Is
told, it all requires a subscription.
Yep.
All right, and another one is, can we list all the plugins in the descriptions so
Yep.
that users can
Find them?
go
Yep.
back and find them?
Yeah, so we'll put all of the links to where those plugins are in the Moodle plugin directory, or if they are Learnbook or eCreators plugins, we'll put some information down in the description for how you can get access to those or how you can find out some more information.
And that's it.
Cool.
All
Awesome.
good.
Cool. Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming along and listening to us on our first episode of Talking Moodle. We hope there are many more to come. And if you liked our video, and please give us a big thumbs up. And if you like our channel, please consider subscribing and help us out with our subscribers. And we will see you next time on the next episode of Talking Moodle.
Thank you.
See ya.